Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another zipline in a tunnel, where I finished the build. Well, you guys probably saw that. Hopefully you saw that at the end of the last episode, and I apologize for my shoddy camera work there. But that's it. We have our second internal tunnel rocking and rolling, and I'm very happy that I've finally figured this out. Someone tried to explain it to me once on stream, and I couldn't fathom what they were trying to tell me, and having this set up is actually pretty Gucci. I'm pretty excited about this and the fact that it works. Hopefully it works as advertised. So in theory, if we come over here and we were to disconnect this button right here, then they should still have access to everything, and they can come over here and still work on this because they can actually make it through this zipline system here. And so that means that how this is supposed to work, is my understanding, is if they want to actually go out this way, they just pop down into this zipline station here and they run right across the way, and there's no like time delay allegedly between the two stations here, and they just pop right in and they go forth and conquer, and they rage over to the new place that they're going to be going to play in, which means that we now have a little bit of an easier bit of access to gain or to get over to this area so we can start working on all of this. That being said, this is one of our projects for today. I want to get this moving, and I have an idea, and I saw this on, I believe it was Zedek, and I'll correct myself if I spelled their name or said the name incorrectly. Who showed a pretty interesting way of making sure that we can irrigate everything with as minimal work as possible for our beavers. And we'll see if we can get that up and running, this taking full advantage of the overhang system that we have available to us and building some pylons up and about in the sky so that we can, so that water irrigates through these pylons, right? That's the going in argument. So we would just put a bunch of these throughout this area, as long as it's high enough to facilitate the growth of whatever's below it, or the buildings themselves that's below there, then we shouldn't have any issues, allegedly, with putting something like this in, and then we could have just the irrigation pond on top. So I want to maybe leave some space for these little pylons to go in this area down here. Now, of course, you can see that there's a little bit of an issue with doing something like this because we can only fill so much of this in, and we have to basically do some finagling like this, and that means that we can't really do much with like the 1x6s or anything else like that. So since this is done in order to facilitate the irrigation of all of the units below it, so I'm thinking that we might prepare something like that down here. Now, obviously, we're going to have irrigation on this lower level free and easy because, well, we've got the massive reservoir up here that's going to be filling constantly. That's going to be a huge piece of water to fill in the rest of our workspace down here. But I want to get up top. I want to take advantage of this area because we're kind of running out of real estate to do like next tier major builds, right? And then by that I mean we're going to need more beavers to do that, which means we need more food. We need more bots to do that, which means we need more food to feed the bots. And I don't mean literal food, but I mean base products like potatoes and spatter dock and whatever else that we need in order to get this going. And of course, we're going to need a lot more maple than this. If we're going to pump out the catalyst to the rate that I would like to pump out the catalyst to feed the number of bots that I plan to have in the future, then we're going to need a lot more maple than just this, right? So we're staring at 1,600 units. And of course, we're not eating into all this because it's full right now. But if we want to get into catalyst and have a fair amount of maple syrup available to continue to producing maple pastries, to then in turn produce in our refineries our catalyst here, then we're going to need a lot more maple syrup than what we have available to us. And that is basically all she wrote there. But that is a small, or that's the next step down here. Obviously, we need to get over here and finish this. And I want to kind of tackle 2 things or 3 things today. One, take advantage of the fact that we have 27 beavers floating around doing nothing right now. So we're going to probably toss in a few additional hauling posts to help maneuver goods around to allow for the quick building of all of the things. And then I want to finish this up, get our beavers over here to fill the rest of our base area in, and then of course put in our levee system and our dam system over here to allow for this irrigation down here. Now that means that we're going to have to at some point come over here, rip this out, and then put in our sluice gates so that we can control the water that's being pushed into here. We don't want to waste any of it, and of course that's going to wait until we're ready for the catching of the water, if you will. So that's going to be a little bit of a ways off, but another thing that I want to get over here and finish is this eyesore that I've been holding off on finishing for a hot minute, and I'm thinking of a few ways to help get this thing moving a little bit faster. And as I've harped on many times in the past, it's all about touch points. If the beavers don't have touch points to get up here and actually get anything accomplished, then they're basically at the whims of one builder beaver maneuvering goods, or as many builder beavers as possible to maneuver the goods to the point, and then one beaver to sit there and finish cranking it out, so to speak. Now, if we come in here and we do something like this, where we grab that right there, we come up right here, and then we probably don't want to do that right there, honestly. If we did something like that here, and then we did this here, and then we did this here, pull that across to that end, that puts us on top of this next area, which means that we can run around this side and rage this way. Now, of course, we're going to have to continue doing that up to this stage, then up to this stage, then up to this stage, which should not be that convoluted or complicated of a thing for us to do. We might even move this over because this is, well, we can't really move it much further over. So we're going to have to start doing some weird or odd finagling just to ensure that we can get over our large windmills. But that will give us something to work towards, something to work on. We may even just rage and go in like this, so we're not doing anything weird. I'm letting them build this right now, knowing full well that I'm going to have to readjust. But that's okay. We lost a few planks. We've got 3 grand floating around. And then another thing that we could probably put on the back burner as far as builds are concerned, put this at like a lowest priority. A very low priority is start maneuvering all of this industry to exclude our dirt excavator, but putting all of our smelters over here. And then our processing plants, that includes our, where is it? Our extract, our centrifuge, move that over here as well. So we'll fit in a bunch of our smelters and centrifuges in this area. We'll have to put in a temporary power solution for these guys up here. Probably may even throw in a few of our batteries back in this side just to allow for some form of power while we're running our power line all around space and time to connect back into here. Now, I could go about that in a crazy way and run tunnels all the way through here, but as we saw in the last episode, tunnels are very slow to dig. And that goes back to touch points, right? Only a couple of beavers can roll in and actually place any of the material. And then you're stuck with one beaver in the end building the actual the tunnel piece. So it's very time-consuming, time-taxing effort. And I don't necessarily like that idea. But it is something that we could do if push comes to shove. If I want to drop all of this, or we just drop it, we cut large swaths of dirt out with explosives, and we just pull it into here and fill it back in. I don't know if that'd be much more of a time save or more of a time suck. I don't know. But that's something for me to think about in the future when we're talking about running power through here. And yeah, maybe what we can do is run power through a line underneath here, and then that just digs under and up into here. That is an option that we could go about doing, since we do have access to this hole right here. That basically means that we have a pre-built tunnel that we can then in turn just run across the top, and that means that we have access to all the touch points, and that means a lot of things get accomplished. But I digress. I've been yapping for way too long about plans. Let's get to execution. So I want to put this back up to our regularly scheduled priority. We'll get that in. We'll probably rip this out. We'll rip this out. We'll rip that out and realize that I made a horrible, horrible mistake in this planning effort already. I don't want to take these stairs out because that's kind of how they're gaining access to all this down here, but we can make stairs right there, and then we could put some doubles right here, and then we put a set of, well, that's not going to be very helpful. Oh no, I forgot to have them build this. All right, you guys build that. If I need to figure out what I'm doing with my life at this point, apparently. So we're just going to do this. Okay, we're gonna rip, nope, not that out, and then that out, and then probably do something along these lines like this. So we're gonna come in from here. That means something like this. That double, we've got access there. I want to gain access through here. Yes. And that means that we could just do this. Have I created a gap there? I have. That was dumb of me. So we need to fix that, rectify that, put in a triple platform right here. There we go. That's what we want to see. Cool. So that is in. Now I just need to figure out how I want to get up to the next tier, and that would lead me to think I didn't plan this out as well as I thought I did, but it's okay. Now they should have access to get up here and start building all of this, which means the beavers that are going to be able to actually at some point gain access to this over here should be able to. Is that not a path there? Can I grab the path, please? There's not a path there. Okay. So can I put this here? No, because there is a path there. Okay. Get rid of that path there. Put that there. Put that there. Then connect that bad Johnny. Now they have access to all that, and they can get up there, rock and roll, rage against the machine, and get all those things going for us. And like I said, touch points. Touch points are great. You see how fast this is going? Instead of it 1Z, 2Z popping in here, they can continue to run all of the planks and all of the, well, I guess it's just planks for the platforms because they made that change a minute ago. That means that that's a little bit nicer on that end. Now, I did want to come over here, take advantage of the 22 beavers that we have floating around doing nothing with their lives right now other than just sitting on their bums right now and putting in a couple more of these buildings right here. Could clean this up a little bit, but I can't be bothered right now. And I want probably one more builder's hut. We'll call it 2 more builder's huts. We'll path around this backside and then connect with that bad Johnny, which means that is good in there. We will give this a priority bump because that will fight against this monstrosity over here, which we don't want to be fighting with. All right, so I'm thinking, I know, dangerous. Once they are done building this layer right here, then we can start moving up on this side, and then we can start making our overhangs work for us as opposed to against us, which means we'll be burning some of our material as far as metal blocks are concerned, but we're doing okay on the blocks. We're still kind of behind the production line as far as scrap metal, but it doesn't help that we have 5 of these guys constantly cranking out scrap metal. And yeah, cool. That being said, I do want to swap this over. We do have a high injury prone workspace that I would like to change over to bots so that we don't have a bunch of these injuries floating around. Now, that's going to continue to happen. These have a chance to injure beavers. These have a chance to injure beavers. This definitely has a chance. We've already made that transition over, so that shouldn't be a problem. I believe this has a high chance. That does as well, and these do as well. So we'd like to get away from those positions, but that's going to be a little bit of time before we can actually facilitate that, because that's, well, we only have enough to produce, I believe one set of bot production facilities only produces enough to make about 50 to 100. I think it's 50, but I could be mistaken, and I believe it could go faster if you actually provided these guys with catalysts and punch cards. We're not to the punch card stage yet, just because I don't have a place to put the punch cards if we wanted to anyway, unless we wanted to expand a little bit over here, which I'm not ready for that, and obviously I don't think I will be for a little bit, because we have so many other major projects that we would like to get accomplished. Now, do they have access to this? They do. We have a drought approaching. We had a max temperate cycle. Heck yeah. I did realize, and I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, that I never actually built this or finished building this. So we, wait a second. Why is that? What is happening here? This should be more full than it is. Hold up. Are we losing water somewhere? This should be a lot more full than it is. I don't understand why it's not nearly as full. Interesting. Okay. Well, we've still got 2.5 days left for that to fill up, and we'll let that continue to do those things. And we have a spare bot floating around with nothing to do, so that means you get swapped into there, and that takes care of that. Now, I want to get up here and see about connecting this next portion. Nope, not that button. Give me the path. No, give me the path. Give me the path. Thank you. Path. Thank you. Now, no, I don't want that. Give me the buttons. That's what we want. And let's just check to make sure that we're not colliding with that. And we are not. So that is good. I want something like that, however, which means I need to provide them with a single here and then another set of stairs there, and then right here we're going to give them that portion, give them that there. We're going to then put another double here, and we're going to put do I want a double there? Yes, I do, because I need to extend this forward a little bit more. So this is going to be staircase there, access point there, staircase here, then a piece there, staircase there, access point. So that means we need a single there, then we need a double here, and then a triple here, and another triple here, which means we probably don't need to do two there. Just that. We're not even... Yeah, we'll need that. Do we need that? We don't need that. Just want that there. Great. Now they can just do this, and that's their access point to that line, and then they should be able to rage against the machine. So we'll give this a priority bump over what's happening on the other side, just so that they can very easily get all of this accomplished. Now, I do need to put in pathways along here and along here, and a pathway there, and then a pathway here. Now, I do have to come in and somehow delete these paths without causing a problem, or we just disconnect it in its entirety. Probably just rip this out so that they don't continue to cause problems for us. And that means that they can actually start putting in our gravity batteries and all of the things for us. I do want to set this as a priority for our builders, our haulers, sorry. Paper, not so much. Gears, yes. Already set, so our hauler should be coming over here and moving all of that around for us without any issue. Now, I want to get that swapped over since we did have a spare beaver or a spare bot. That's good. Scrap metal is still falling way behind. I don't... Well, yeah, that's because it's right here. Duh. Scrap metal. Do we need to unlock our next mine? Which is way over here, or it's a mine that is... I think that's it, other than this mine over here. Now that mine's going to take a hot minute to get to. Both of them are at extremes of the map. That corner over there, and then... Yeah, are there only 2 more mines available to us? Maybe, I don't know. I've already lost the other mine that I was just thinking about using. Over here. Yeah, that one and then that one. I don't think that there are any other mines available to us. We do have this already in the zipline station. And we're not doing anything else down there. So we could, in theory, take advantage of that and just walk over here and set up a secondary mining facility. Get some more bots in here doing that for us. Now that's going to require us setting up a small facility, which I'm not opposed to doing. And we do have relatively easy access to this up here. We just need to find a way up here, which probably just means blasting this little portion out right there. Someone will come in, they'll put that one explosive in, which means we could put a staircase in. Crawl up here, and then we can just rage over here. And we'll just go ahead and plan that out now, since we have the capacity to do so, and I have the brain bites while they're taking care of all the other things. And we'll set up a series of places. Now, I kind of want to just destroy this. There's no reason for these to be down here. So I'm going to clear them out, and we're going to rip these out so I don't get the notification that these are unconnected buildings. And that will also alleviate a portion of our potential lag in the future from the, from the district super length problem that we will run into at some point. So that goes to there, that goes to there, this goes to here, that just goes down here, that goes here, that goes here, and then probably a few storage depots for what we're about to put in here. I do want to check on this. That did fill up a fair amount, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, power, metal, mine shaft goes here. So we need logs, gears, and treated planks. That is simple, so we do logs, treated planks, and we go gears here. And that means that we do something like this as well, because we want to have our catalyst and extract pre-positioned for our bots that are going to be over here in the future. And I also want to put in... Well, actually, let's get rid of those two. Let's put in our underground storages. And that will be logs and sparkly planks for now, right? And then when we're done with the logs, or we just turn this into scrap metal, and then on this side we put in a small thing for logs, right? Yeah, a small thing for logs will be totally fine. And then on this side, we put in our zipline station right here. Now that means that we need to put in zipline connection hubs. I think that'll reach both of them, honestly. because once that is disconnected, that seems to be about the same length. So we're just going to accept that that is going to work for now. Of course, it's going to be a minute till they get this ready for us, just due to the fact that they are working on a relatively massive project over here, which is nearing completion, honestly. So our touch points thing was correct. And now it's just a matter of maneuvering all of the rest of the metal blocks and gears and planks up the flagpole to the top, which maybe we could help out a little bit with that by doing something a tad bit ridiculous. Now let's see here. That means, so let's rip that out. Rip that out. Let's rip that out. I want to rip this out and this out. And we go... Did I really need to? No, I wanted to rip this path out as well. That means putting this staircase in, that in, that in, that in. And then another 6-piece here. Don't know if we need 6, but it's it'll work. Then that goes here. Double. And then I want a few more doubles here. Then we do a couple of these right there. So I could have gotten away with the smaller one. Do I care to save a little bit of material? Probably. So let's go with the 5 instead of the 6. That's there. That's double. Double. Do I need to do this like this? No, I don't even need the stairs to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and rip this out. So you get some of those materials back. Try not to break anything in the process. And we just do something a little like this and this. The double there is going to be required. Rip that. Go 3 out, and then a 3, a 2 this way. And give this a priority bump. And then on top of that, we put our zipline station. And hopefully that's not too much of an angle of attack. If it is, then we'll go out a little bit more. But I first got to put the thing in like so. And we can remove that connection. And then I realize I hit the wrong button. Now it's reconnected. Add connection to that. It is not too steep. Good. And so let's pop that up priority-wise so that their lives get a little bit easier. They just go back and forth from our zipline station, and that will be Gucci. Now, I need to reassess what else we've got going on in here. They have emptied all of this out. So other than that, probably because we don't have a large enough storage facility for all the extract they were producing. These guys have been sat in their bum for a hot minute, I'm sure, too. So let's fix that. Means putting in something like this, giving this a max priority so that we can get that facilitated, and then putting in a large tank for our extract, which we're going to need a lot more of in the future. And we'll give this a max priority as well. They should have all the materials quite literally right next to it, other than our logs, but our logs have been turned into planks and other stuff. So that's what's happening there. We still have enough planks. Do these require logs? No, they don't. So we could still complete that that project there without any issue. Now, we do have 4 additional bots floating around doing nothing with their hands, which means I want to check to see how this is. We can probably plus this up by a little bit. Since we do have them available to us, we don't really need that much in the way of extract or bad water right now, but it will be nice to have that in the future when push comes to shove. Sweet. They have been slowly putting these in, which is kind of crazy. Probably because they've Is this gonna get built before that? I don't know. We'll see. Well, one way or another, it will get accomplished, and that's, I guess, all that really matters. If it makes their lives a little bit easier, good. If not, that's kind of stinky. I kind of want that to be put in so I can start progressing our stuffs. Already got that in. That's exploded. We now put our staircase in, and that should connect everything. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This is already in, so that means that our hauler should be coming over to empty that out, hopefully. Right? Please. Don't make me out to being a liar. I would appreciate that. Let's get that flipped over. We're still doing okay on science. We're not quite in the best position overall, because we still need to unlock the brazier bonding, the fountain of joy, and the earth recultivator, which require a lot of science each, and we still have a lot of positions to go in and clean up as far as bot positions. But we are slowly increasing all of that. We will delete that. We will also delete that, and we will grab this. We'll add this connection to there, and then subsequently to that point as well. Now, that is good. That means that our bots can move over here, and then we can start working all of that as soon as they're ready to do so. Now, some of them aren't taking the zipline station, which is funny. Not entirely sure why they're not taking the zipline station up to work. Maybe they're already halfway around. That might explain that, but that means this is going in a little bit quicker, and that is nice to see. This didn't help with anything other than just making me feel happier about giving them a little bit of a quicker maneuver, or a bit of space to maneuver about the cabin. Now, are these empty? They are, so let's go ahead and just rip all of these out so we don't have that as a little pop-up notification. That's just going to be in the way for all of the things. You kind of want to come over here and get lost again in the sauce. Swap this out with a bot. That should help with all of that. I still want to put in our forester back here. That does fit there now. And that means that we can refill these positions over here. That will get accomplished at their earliest convenience. I do want to check to see if we're still getting bee stings. We are. I'm not sure where they're getting stung at, unless our builders are officially getting stung now. Which shouldn't be our efficient farmhouse guys. They should not be getting stung. At least I thought they weren't supposed to be able to get stung, but I could be mistaken. All right. We have a bunch of our bio beavers running around without anything to do with their hands, which is totally fine, totally acceptable. I do want to check to see how this is all doing down here. They haven't collected these planks, but that's okay. We kind of don't have any... Well, we kind of have a little bit of storage available for planks, but I'm not too concerned about that. This is in. And now we have the mega power wall installed. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, that was a little cheesy, but there we go. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Don't even expect to make me do that calculation in my own head, okay? 23 times 6,200. Or 62,000, sorry. So that's 1.4 million units of horsepower per hour available to us. I don't believe we're going to run into a power issue. Ever. Ever. Again, if we do, I wouldn't know what to do with my hands, because there's no way we could produce enough power to regenerate all of it. The network still is at 10,000. The demand is still at 4,000. And we're still building these slowly but surely as they have the time to run over here. But I did want to go ahead and click this button and bring these all back up to a normal priority, which in turn means we need to actually bring our path around town so they can get all that done. And we also need to get over here, and then that will allow them to fill all that in. I don't know how I missed that little piece right there, but we have a bunch of beavers that just rolled over. They're raging already. I love to see it. That makes me happy. You love a good beaver that's raging against well, everything. So that's fantastic. We do have a few more beavers available now. 9 more, so we could probably toss in a couple more builders huts and maybe even an additional hauling post back here. Give this a priority bump so that gets taken care of. Now that's oddly shaped and positioned, but it's okay. I'm willing to accept that as it is. Okay, there's no reason for you guys to be bringing in any unnecessary or undue pain or hate. We still do need to connect this though, so let's go ahead and fill this in. And that looks a little something like that. I do want to give this a priority bump. That should be relatively simple for them to do. Priority-wise, this should get accomplished first before this does get accomplished. And I do need to actually connect this piece right there, which means that does need a priority bump, which means I also need to reconnect this. So disconnect that, reconnect that here and here, so they can go in and build that one small thing that I neglected to finalize. Now we do have 2 bots now floating around with nothing to do with their hands, which means that they get to go and be explosive manufacturers. Though we're not, yeah, we're kind of doing pretty good with those, so that's good. We're going to probably need those for more tunneling in the future if we do go the tunneling route. I haven't decided yet. Push comes to shove, if we are absolutely in dire straits as far as scrap, we can come up here and rip into this. But I think this little side project that's already almost done will put us in a pretty good spot as far as that is all concerned. And as soon as they get this connected, then we can make their lives a little bit easier. That is all connected now, and it is all blue, so that means that we can disconnect that pylon station and then add this connection there and give this a I don't know if we need to prioritize that. All right, ultra low priority. Bring those down to that priority, and then that can stay at that priority. Maybe this goes to that priority, and then these go to regular. I'm not sure which way I want to go, Western Man. Oh, wait. Yeah. There we go. That means that they'll finish these stairs. That then gives them access to this zipline station. It's going to take a second to get all the materials across the world because that's a lot of logs, planks, and metal blocks. But we should have enough builder beavers to move that stuff around without too much consternation. Now, let us see how this is going on in here. It's going. That's just waiting on dirt. We need to make sure that these are prioritized by haulers so that our builders aren't waiting for stuff to come in. So that is good. That is Gucci. That is amazing. Haulers are already moving dirt. Or actually, builders are already back over here, building away, doing amazing things. We need to give them more pathage all across here. Don't know if they'll be able to reach that from there. We'll see. That might be a limiting factor for that production or that build area. Now, let us see where else we can put in another beaver that's in a very painful position. You can swap over. Maybe we should have swapped these over. That might have been the smarter idea. But that's okay. That will do fine. That'll do. I think we can stop prioritizing these as obtain and hauling. We'll leave that. Will that one as well. And gears, actually. I don't know why. Yes, I know why. Because I want to get these in, which will then in turn increase our network supply even more. At some point, we'll come over here and we'll rage this way and fill this entire corner up. And maybe even put in more back here, which would be so cool. So fresh, so cool, so amazing. Do kids say fresh these days anymore? Is that gone? Whatever. Logs. Oh no. So maybe this takes a much lower priority. Yep, that's the absolute wrong way. That's the way that we need that to go. So this needs to get finished. This is just dirt. Dirt and, well, a few logs, but that's not too many logs. So let's get this done. That means giving this a priority bump. It shouldn't have anything it's fighting priority-wise, but I just want to ensure that we are conveying our desires to our beavers appropriately. Otherwise, there might be a failure of communication, okay? And we don't want that, all right? We don't want to be in a position where they don't understand our true intentions behind everything that we're doing, okay? Okay, all right? Yeah, getting what I'm putting down here, bub? Probably not. I might be delirious. I might be going off my rocker, but it's okay. Things are happening, and it's making me really happy. But the lack of logs is severely disheartening. Where can we rescue some? I know that there's a large pile up here, down here. That's a few. That's not many. That's not going to help out too much. That's a few, not many. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. I think just finishing this up is going to be pertinent to our overall plan in here. And maybe we do, instead of just filling this entire crater in with those, let's see. I kind of want to fill the entire crater in because I think that'd be really neat. But the problem is our zipline stations don't really make that feasible option because we've got the 50 degree problem, so we can't exceed like this, I think. And I want to give them easy access to everything instead of being heavily reliant on stairs. Stairs are not the most fun. But if they are the answer, then they are the answer. So let's just go ahead with that as the answer. So let us do that. I think we want 2 there, a 3 here, a 3 here, 3 there, 3 there, 3 there. We'll just rage all the way up to there-ish. There and there. And that will be our central point of entry. And that just means we put stairs in right here, 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 there, 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 and there. And also here. Right? Did I do that all correctly? Well, we'll see the moment we place these all in. That should connect all of the staircases and everything. Is that the height that we want to go to? Probably. We also want to confirm that we can build underneath it. So let's work over here and see how high this needs to be. So that's 3 high, and this is a nice little thing like so. And then we come in here, we put oak under there. Now, is that too high? Or do we need to go one lower? Or can we go one lower? Let's see. I want to delete that. And then we do... I don't know if this is actually going to show us that without... Okay, we might need to just go pause the game over there while they're doing the thing. So let's go and click that. We'll clear this out. We'll rage over here. We will see what we need in order to clear a gap like that. So let's pause the game. Come down here. That's not really a place that we could do anything. These are the same height as the oak trees, if I'm not mistaken, so this should work as a test. So that is 2. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, and this should not allow us to place anything. So we will have to go that high to do anything. If we want to just do trees over there, which I'm okay with doing trees on the bottom layer, and then the next layer can be forestry. I feel like that's a good use of our material or our real estate. Maybe we'll do 2 layers of trees and then the rest can be... So 2 layers of trees. And then the rest can be farming on top of that. I feel like that's a good use, maybe. So we'll let them keep raging. I do need to pause it to build this, though. I don't want them building or placing dirt unnecessarily and or too early, because that could cause a problem for us. And this zipline station is going to cause a problem for us. Yeah, that's going to cause a problem for us. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead, grab this. We're going to pause the game for a second. And we're going to start from here to 3. So that's 3 high, and then we need 1 more on top, right? Yes. We'll do this all around, and that should look a little something like that. And then we do 1, 2, 3, 4. We grab this, and nope, that's not what we wanted to do. Grab this, grab this. Rage, rage, rage. That's going to require us to put another one like right in there. But that's okay. I think this distance should be good. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. This not easily snapping to thing is mildly obnoxious, but it's okay. We will overcome somehow, some way. Okay, that goes like that. And then we come over here, probably rip out some of these stairs right here. Or not stairs, path, this path right here. repath over here so that they can finish the rest of that stuff. And then I do need to put something in to fill this gap. Maybe right here. 2, 3, 4. Nope, that wasn't 4. Okay. That's 4 now. That's going to be... So the problem with all of this right here is I have neglected to actually take into consideration that they can't build certain portions without the previous side being complete. So that means we're gonna have to come in here, rip all of this top portion off like that. We're gonna have to do singular portion like that. That's gonna have to go like such as pull that out, pull that out, pull this out, this out, and in theory we should be able to do this. We swap this around, grab this. That means that we can do that, theoretically. Like that. And then this side can just be filled in like that. That side can be filled in like that. That's going to have to get out of there. Of course, the delete button doesn't work because why would it when you want to delete something? And then we swap these around and we do this. All right. So I'm going to spend a few seconds or a few minutes trying to finagle all of this. And you guys can enjoy a nice speed up montage from, future editor me. So enjoy this. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Chase the beaver call from the gila to the verd. Some howling around the campfire, they've been hiding in the cave. Tell me, what is it they want from me? Are they real? Where did they come from? Are they real? Where did they go? Are they real? Are they real?
All right. That was convoluted, complicated, made my brain hurt on a multitude of levels. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to be able to actually get this accomplished in any way, fashion, shape, or form. However, we have it going in an argument as to how this is supposed to look. Now, will it look like this? I don't know. I think it should work. I tried to make things be consistent, but... well, it doesn't look very consistent. You can see these two over too far, this over, like inconsistent distances between, like this side looks good and then it gets progressively worse the further we go out this way. But this all lines up decently, I guess. These all line up. This one's too far forward. This is too far forward, but all of these line up. These are too close. Yeah, it's okay. It works. It's probably not the most optimal use of our space at all, or any way, fashion, shape, or form, but it is something to work towards. Something for them to work on, I suppose. I still need to give them access to it somehow, but they've got plenty of dirt for them to work on for now to place, and that'll get the initial pillars in for them to do something, and that'll be a lot of dirt for them to play with. All the while, I want them to focus on getting these done down here before they do anything else, because I would like to get some of our work space appropriately claimed so that we can turn this into a new forestry area. Of course, we lose out on all these pillar positions for reasons, but we should not have any issue with planting all of the oaks, getting all of the bodies in here to take care of whatever it is that they need to do. So, to recap, we got this. Well, they actually worked on a lot of this. That's cool. We got this done. 1.4 million. How? 1.4 million. That's a lot. That's a magic poop ton. We got this going in. We can't really do anything with it right now because we're kind of hurting in the lumber department. Because we're producing all the other things, I'm assuming. We are trying to rectify that by putting this in over here. Just need to make sure that they know that this is the max of max priorities. Get all of that done. Probably not that one. That one definitely doesn't need to be max priority. But that needs to be accomplished. Maybe we'll come over here and tear to some of our chestnuts since we're kind of... okay, maybe not chestnuts. Maybe our maple trees for a second. To try to help out a little bit since our maple syrup is kind of full. Maybe that's a good idea. I'm not sure yet how I want to tackle that, but we did get in here. We got this connected, so that is Gucci. When we have a bad tide, we'll have power store or power going out this way, which is fantastic. We have a bunch of bots running around now with nothing to do with their hands. Means I need to put them into places where they're helpful. I've already swapped both of those. I think I only have... okay, let's swap you out, Dr. Bean. Let's swap you out there. Let's swap you out with the 1000 science. And that's our 2 bot positions, or 4 bot positions actually taken care of. Let's check on these guys, how their productivity is. Their productivity is pretty banging, actually. That's really good. That makes me happy to see. Sparkly planks are holding steady. We haven't dropped to 0 on the scrap metal, so that is good. we are making progress towards getting that in, so that is good. We have our next generation farm and forestry area going in, so that is awesome. That's, again, going to take a little bit of time. I don't know how we're going to actually get up there. Maybe it's just going to be a bunch of stairs, and we put in a bunch of platforms underneath here so that we can actually get everything built, and then we'll just tear it all out. I don't know. That seems like a waste of material, but it would get it done, and that's all that really matters in the end. We'll lose out on a little bit of our plank storage, which is okay. It's not the greatest, but it is okay. I do want to see if we can actually plant anything back here, actually. So let's see. That's a few more oaks potentially to plant back in here. Yes. I don't know why that is planted in the water. So there, we've got a few more oaks planted. We can mark that for cutting back here. It'll give us a little bit more material to work with, which will be a Gucci. It's not going to do much for us in the grand scheme of things, but it will provide us with what we desire. Okay, give me the will, give me the fire, give me all that I desire. Ooh, never mind. I want to make sure that this is going in. It's still not complete. I just want those last few logs going in. Okay, how about this? Don't want to do this, but you guys come eat these up real quick. And then we'll turn that off as soon as we have a nice little pop up or push in some of our lumber materials. Just don't want it to go into production of anything ridiculous like planks or sparkly planks or something. I want the lumber to go into something useful like our dam down here, which is what I would like it in for. Maybe a smarter thing to have done is put one of our floodgates in, because that's a little cheaper on the log side of the house. Maybe we do that. I don't know. That would have required us climbing down and doing some other things to actually gain access to all that. So I don't know if that would have been the appropriate answer anyway. So we will make do with what we have. This is totally acceptable. We'll eat through some of our lumber here, and hopefully we'll have a mass push of lumber popping up here soon that will help alleviate this problem that we are currently experiencing. And another thing that we're experiencing is we're out of dirt. We're out of dirt, guys. That's not good. So our 4 timber bots in there working and slaving away is not produced enough dirt for our mega project, which is kind of stinky. So maybe we'll hold off on doing this mega project until we get some more dirt and lumber in. Or we just let it sit and idle in the background while all of those materials manifest themselves, for lack of a better term, there. But I digress. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please hit that like button. I would appreciate you. And if you have not hit that mythical subscribe button, I would appreciate that too, friends, because we are slowly encroaching on the 1,000 mark, which is actually kind of crazy to me. I don't know how that happened, but it did, and that makes me happy. We're almost there, and that is amazing in and of itself, and I would like to hit that hopefully before the end of this year. And if you guys could help out in that regard, that would be awesome. That'd be freaking amazing on so many levels. And I would appreciate each and every one of you who do help make that goal a thing. Now, I have no control over that other than to just beg, borrow, and plead for another subscription. So I'm going to stop meandering or jabbering on. I'll let you guys have a fantastic day wherever you're in the world. Make sure you guys stay nice and thirsty, nice and happy, nice and hydrated. We'll catch you all in the next episode of I have too many projects. I don't know what to do with my hands. And mumbling me. I'm out. See ya.